The 48 Laws of Power. This book is banned in prisons, it's in every CEO's shelf, but after reading this book for myself, I realized something, that this book isn't a guide to success, but it's a manual to spiritual disruption. Let's break it down. The need of power is inherently already evil. In this video, I'm going to be breaking down why the need for power is overtly already an evil want, and why also Christ offers us a better way. And in this video, I'm going to be breaking down 15 of the most dangerous laws touched upon in the 48 Laws of Power. In this video, I'll be showing us real consequences of us following these laws as the almighty truth, and I'll be showing us why God's alternative is so much better for us. And this video isn't just a book review on what I would have said 2 years ago is my favorite book of all time, but instead it's a wake-up call for people that have been brainwashed by this book. And first we need to understand why the pursuit of power is overtly evil. Because Robert Greene's core message in this book is that everybody wants power. But that's not the truth. Wounded people seek power. Whole people seek purpose. And the book's worldview is essentially you win if others lose. But this isn't the worldview that Christ tells us to live. You see, in John 10 verse 10, it reads, "I came that they may have life and have life abundantly." And I'm going to be making an example with what I thought was my favorite chapter back then, was law number 1, never outshine the master. Greene in this chapter of the book says we should hide our talents because it can bring upon jealousy from people that are in a place of leadership. Jesus says in Matthew 15 verse 10 to shine your light, and already from the first law it's showing us that this isn't the kind of life that Christ wants us to live. But even outside of our Father's teachings, this book alone already has so many things that you would deem ethically immoral. But now we're going to go into something I would call the manipulation quarter of this book, because these are chapters in the book that overtly teach people how to manipulate others to do whatever they want to do. And these are those laws. Law 2, never put too much trust in your friends. Learn how to use your enemies. Law 7, get others to do the work for you, but always take the credit. Law 14, pose as a friend, work as a spy. Law 33, discover each man's thumbscrew. And these chapters alone don't just only teach you how to destroy trust, but also how to isolate yourself in the process. It teaches you how to steal from others, how to steal their joy from the work that they do so you can benefit. It fosters fake relationships and kills authenticity. And worst of all, it exploits weaknesses and creates paranoia. In John 15 verse 15 it says Jesus called us to be friends. In Philippians 2 verse 3 it says we must lift each other up. And simply put, the Bible doesn't say we should exploit people's weaknesses, because the Bible gives us healing, and it doesn't give us the ability to exploit other people's weaknesses for our own gain. And then these next 3 laws are not only just 3 destructive laws, but they're laws that can have real world fallout. And these laws are: Law 15, crush your enemy totally. And Law 16, use absence to increase respect and honor. And then these laws show us a sad reality of what life can really be, because this is what really has happened in real life. Historical examples like Caesar, Napoleon, they ended in death, exile, or betrayal, which is the road that Christ wouldn't want us to go under. But instead he doubles down and says in Matthew 5 verse 44 to love your enemies and pray for those who persecute you. And I don't know about you guys, but that doesn't sound like somebody that crushes their enemy totally. In Law 16, Greene uses the prospect of scarcity to make people want you more. But can I tell you, someone that's rooted in Christ wouldn't even really mind if you were gone truly, because it reads in Matthew 1 verses 23 that God is with us. And I want to make an example with 2 different people right now, the CEO and a pastor. The CEO that followed all of these rules that he's read in this book, isolated himself, attained wealth, but died without living a meaningful life. But instead, a pastor that always spent time with people, caring for people, because that's what life really is. It's the memories that you have with people, not stored goods that you have in the world. Living Christ's way. This person had thousands of people attending their funeral when they passed on, and it's because they lived the way that Christ intended them to be. with community. But I can't just say that this book only has bads. If I'm being honest, there were some laws in this book that I thought were genuinely good, but I hope we don't take them as false virtue, just so people can have good laws in a book that is overtly evil. Laws like Law 1, never outshine the master. Law 11, build a cult following. And Law 25, recreate yourself. It's not humility, but self-suppression. This book used an example of a man that was throwing a birthday party for his king, and because of the jealousy that he had felt that he was able to make such an amazing party with so many people that had come in attendance, and not only that, he took the spotlight in that chapter. The king felt so furious and jealous that he had had him executed, and this is what that law stems upon. Using false virtue to teach a key point that the book makes. Building an occult following. I thought this was a good chapter because it taught you ways on how to be able to provide value to people, or instead use them to get closer to you. But instead this chapter wasn't really good because it still used what I said before, which was false virtue. And this was you making people feel dependent on you instead of empowering them to be able to be themselves. And then for recreate yourself, Robert Greene described this as building a persona to manipulate others to follow you. But this is not what Christ says we can do. But instead, in 2 Corinthians 5 verse 17 it reads, authentic transformation, which is what Christ truly wants for each and every one of us. And onto seduction and the beautiful lie that this book teaches us. In Law 28, enter action with boldness, and Law 6, court attention at all costs. It shows us a deep sense of people wanting validation and using that validation to be able to dominate people that are under you, instead of that which is serving others and making them feel empowered around you. And boldness that is rooted in love and not intimidation, as the book teaches. And I'm going to make an example with 2 influencers. One of them followed the laws of this book and made a mask for people, a mask that people loved and a mask that people felt like they could come with, but instead all they were doing was manipulating them to stay. Once that mask slipped, where are they right now? And I'm going to be building one with an authentic influencer, one that actually cares about their audience and one that is just truly just being themselves. This is the one that is truly able to build a cult following. And we've been seeing what this book has been telling us we should be, but now I'm going to be telling us who Christ says we should be. And that's because Christ flips every single law on top of its head. Instead of outshining, he says in John 14 verse 12, you will do great things. Instead of disaster, he entrusts us with everything. Instead of crushing others, he sacrifices himself for his enemies. And we see Christ's example of heroes in real life with figures like Nelson Mandela, Martin Luther King, and Mother Teresa. These are all people that gave of themselves to serve others, and these are the people that made a lasting impact into the future. Not figures like Carnegie, Genghis Khan, and Hitler. And this is because these people valued power over service to others. And now I'm going to be giving us practical steps on how we can actually take this and start living differently. And this is with things like shine your light and help others shine theirs. Do the work and teach others to do the same. Be a real friend, not a fake one. Build people up, don't tear them down. And with this, it can be a simple question to yourself. Where am I tempted to manipulate people? And how can I serve others instead? Those who master the 48 laws of power end up being alone, paranoid, or, if you're one of the good ones, wealthy but never satisfied. Have power but never have people they truly care about, or never have God on their side. And this is because they don't have Christ's impact, which is lasting and is filled with peace. And it even says in Mark 8 verses 36, what does it profit a man to gain the whole world but to lose his soul in the process? If this has opened your eyes, share it to somebody that needs to hear it. Comment below what other success books we should touch upon in this channel if you guys are into this. Subscribe for more content, and remember to shine your light and not to let the world dim you down. And let's build a community that values character over control.